Chosen one, you are not here by accident. Heaven itself has orchestrated your steps to collide with this very word in perfect timing. This moment is not random, it is divine appointment. The Spirit of God has paused your scroll, interrupted your routine, and placed you under this message because you are standing on the edge of a supernatural shift. Anointed one, the appointed hour has come. Scripture declares in Habakkuk 2-3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay." That appointed time is no longer tomorrow. It is not someday. It is now, today, tonight, or in the coming hours. This is your Kairos moment, the collision of God's perfect timing with your destiny. You have felt it, the stirring, the weight, the quiet knowing that something greater is near. Heaven has already opened its mouth, and even now the sound of victory is echoing over your life. What the enemy designed to bury you, God has turned into the soil of your blessing. Chosen one, prepare your heart. Heaven is laughing, not in mockery, but in triumph. And that laugh means your breakthrough has already begun. Chosen one, hear this with your spirit. What you did today may have looked ordinary, small, almost invisible, but in heaven it was thunder. It carried eternal weight. It rose before the throne of God, and when it did, he laughed. Not the shallow laugh of mockery, but the laugh of triumph, the laugh of a father who already knows the ending. That sound was victory announced, a declaration that the enemy's schemes have collapsed, and your destiny remains secure. Anointed one, you often judge yourself too harshly. You compare your progress to others and call yourself behind. You replay old mistakes and believe your steps are too weak to count. But heaven does not measure like earth. Where you see weakness, God sees courage. Where you see a tiny seed, he already sees a flourishing forest. Where you see a trembling prayer whispered through tears, he sees faith powerful enough to shake kingdoms. I have lived through those hidden seasons. I prayed prayers that felt too fragile to matter. I forgave people who never apologized. I clung to hope when despair felt safer. And God reminded me every time, the smallest yes carries eternal power. A hidden act of obedience can ripple across generations. That is why heaven erupted with laughter over you today. Chosen one, never underestimate this moment. You did not just survive another day. You interrupted the plans of hell. You stood where collapse looked certain. You spoke when silence was expected. You moved forward when fear said freeze. That obedience, fragile though it seemed, delighted heaven. Imagine a toddler's first steps, shaky, wobbling, ready to fall. The parent is not angry. The parent rejoices because movement has begun. That is how God looked at you today. The fact that you are still here is already testimony. The enemy's plan was not casual. It was precise, designed to silence prayer, bury hope, and convince you God had turned away. Yet, here you are, breathing, seeking, listening. That survival alone is victory. Every breath declares, the plan against me has failed. Each morning you rise, each time you choose faith, even when it shakes, heaven laughs, because the enemy lost again. Your life is not random survival. It is evidence that God's hand still holds you. And if the enemy could not remove you yesterday, imagine the fear he feels, knowing what God is preparing to release tomorrow. This is why small obedience must never be dismissed. Heaven's economy is not like earth's. The world celebrates headlines, promotions, applause, but God celebrates the hidden, the prayer whispered in a quiet room, the forgiveness no one noticed, the sacrifice that cost you deeply but brought no applause. Every unseen act is written in eternity. Everyone shakes the grip of darkness. I have witnessed this in my own journey. The moments I thought were wasted were the ones heaven magnified. The secret, yes, the seed of faith, the step no one applauded, those became the pivots of breakthrough. And today, chosen one, you planted seeds the enemy cannot uproot, seeds of resilience, seeds of faith, seeds that will bear fruit for generations you may never meet. Heaven has already answered. God has already laughed. And that laugh means momentum has shifted. If you could see what changed in the unseen, you would never doubt again. What looked ordinary here thundered in eternity. What felt like a whisper became a shout in heaven. Chosen one, hold this close. The very strategy designed to bury you has unraveled. The laughter of heaven is not passive, it is power. It is heaven's decree. This battle is already won. The outcome is changing. The tide is turning. Favor is moving in your direction. The enemy studied your patterns, built traps around your hesitation, relied on your exhaustion. But today, you broke the cycle. You gave when nothing remained. You rose when you were expected to fall. You spoke when silence seemed safer. That act triggered a chain reaction beyond your comprehension. It was like a chess game, the enemy smirking, convinced of victory. But your unexpected move overturned the board. That is why God laughed, because he saw what the enemy never imagined. Anointed one, heaven does not wait for grand gestures. Heaven responds to faith. Heaven responds to purity. Heaven responds to truth. One whispered yes, sincere and hidden, carries more authority than 1,000 empty declarations. One secret act of integrity outweighs 100 staged performances. So stop minimizing yourself. Stop believing obedience only matters when it is noticed. Stop comparing your journey to highlight reels that hide struggle. Heaven is not impressed with noise. Heaven treasures depth. And today, you proved that depth is alive in you. Maybe you feel unseen. Maybe you think you are only surviving. But survival is not small. Survival is testimony. Every breath says, I am still here. Every step whispers, the plan against me has failed. Every choice to continue makes heaven lean forward, rejoicing, declaring, they are still standing. Chosen one, remember this. What tried to destroy you has failed. That alone makes your life a living victory. But God is declaring more. This season is no longer only about survival. It is about acceleration. When heaven laughs, it is not just joy. It is signal. It means the ground beneath you is preparing to yield the harvest you prayed for. And all of it began with your yes today. Chosen one, lean closer to this mystery. The laugh of God is not ordinary. It is not shallow amusement. It is holy triumph, strategy, and declaration. When God laughs, he is not reacting, he is announcing. That sound shakes unseen realms. It signals that the atmosphere around your life has already shifted. Chains that looked unbreakable are cracking. Doors that resisted you are trembling. Timelines are bending toward fulfillment. His laughter over you today is proof that your story has entered a new season. Anointed one, survival itself is more powerful than you think. You often downplay your endurance, calling it weakness, but survival is testimony. Every time you breathe, you mock the plans of hell. You outlived the storms that were designed to bury you. You walked through nights that were orchestrated to break you. Yet here you stand, alive and seeking him. Do not call that small. Heaven calls it victory. Every sunrise is your announcement to the unseen. The plan against me has failed. I know this place. I have lived through days where getting out of bed felt like wrestling an army. I have whispered prayers so faint they barely formed words. I have chosen hope while drowning in questions. Later, God showed me those moments carried eternal weight. Heaven recorded what earth ignored. My sighs were songs, my tears were seeds, my weakness became courage. And this is what heaven sees in you now. Chosen one, understand this truth. Heaven celebrates the first step, not just the finish line. The world waits for trophies and applause, but heaven rejoices when you simply move forward. That trembling yes you gave today was enough to rattle eternity. That fragile act of obedience carried force. God laughed, because he already knows how far this one step will take you. The world loves visibility. People praise what they can measure, but heaven treasures the hidden. A prayer whispered in darkness can break generational curses. Forgiveness released without witnesses can open doors for descendants. A sacrifice no one applauded can birth supernatural increase. Do not despise the hidden, for heaven magnifies what earth overlooks. Anointed one, picture ripples in water. A stone falls, and the splash looks small, yet the ripples extend farther than your eyes can follow. Your obedience today was that stone. The splash looked ordinary, but heaven saw waves spreading across eternity. Angels were dispatched. Seeds in the soil began to push upward. Closed gates began to shift. What looked unnoticed has already stirred the unseen. The laugh of God means the game is over. The enemy thought he had mastered your patterns. He relied on your exhaustion, your hesitation, your silence. He assumed you would fold like before. But today you did not. You broke the cycle. You rose when you were supposed to sink. You gave when you had nothing left. You trusted when fear screamed louder. That act flipped the board. The enemy smirked, believing he held victory, but your unexpected move overturned his plan. God laughed because he saw what the enemy never imagined. Chosen one. This changes how you walk. When heaven laughs over your life, you stop crawling in shame. You stop begging for permission to exist. You stop comparing your journey with others. You begin to carry yourself with quiet boldness. The laugh of God is assurance. It is heaven's way of saying, you are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are moving in perfect timing. Acceleration follows divine laughter. Yesterday was about survival. Today is about increase. The soil beneath your feet is shifting. What you sowed in tears will return with joy. What looked buried is breaking through. God does not laugh without reason. His laughter means breakthrough is not just coming. It has already begun. Think of your long nights of silence, the years of unanswered questions, the seasons where nothing seemed to change. Every moment was seed. Those seeds have not died. They have been hidden, waiting. And now heaven's laughter is rain. The laugh is God declaring, now is the appointed time. Chosen one, never forget that your obedience carries generational weight. What you did today is not only about you. It will echo through bloodlines. Children you may never meet will inherit doors opened by your faith. Families will walk in freedom because you whispered yes. Communities will experience blessing because you endured. Heaven laughs because God sees the legacy that your obedience has secured. Anointed one, hold this revelation close. You are not simply surviving for yourself. You are carrying destiny within you. Heaven's laughter is heaven's guarantee that your life has meaning beyond the present. That is why you must silence doubt. That is why you must stop despising your progress. The laugh of God proves your journey is advancing. So lift your head, chosen one. The laughter of heaven surrounds you like a shield. Carry it within your heart. Let it drown out every whisper of fear. Let it silence every lie of insufficiency. Let it remind you each time you step forward, the King of Glory has already laughed, and his laugh is the seal of your victory. Chosen one. The laugh of God is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of acceleration. That sound in heaven is not just celebration. It is activation. It sets things in motion that no power of darkness can reverse. When God laughs, the spiritual climate shifts in your favor. The very ground beneath your feet begins to prepare for increase. What was delayed is being released. What was locked is being opened. That laugh has already gone ahead of you to make crooked places straight. Anointed one, this is why you must never despise the waiting season. You thought delay was denial, but it was preparation. You believed silence meant rejection, but it was hidden alignment. God was building strength in you while no one was watching. He was planting seeds of endurance that could only grow in the soil of struggle. And now, the laughter of heaven is the rain that awakens those seeds. What you thought was wasted time has become the foundation of breakthrough. I know the pain of delay. I know what it feels like to pray for years without visible answers. I know the sting of watching others celebrate while you sit in silence. Yet every time I reached the edge of despair, God whispered, "Wait, trust my timing." Looking back, I can see that he was protecting me from blessings I was not ready to carry. He was preparing me for a harvest that required deeper roots. Chosen one, this is the same truth over your life. What felt like wasted years was sacred construction. Heaven's laughter means the construction phase is ending. It means manifestation is near. The walls that confined you are shaking. The ceilings that limited you are breaking. Doors that denied you are unlocking. The laugh of God is heaven's stamp that says, "Now." Chosen one, do not miss this. Your obedience in the hidden place has created momentum in the visible place. The prayers you prayed through tears are rising as fragrance before the throne. The sacrifices you made in silence are speaking louder than words. The forgiveness you gave without applause is echoing in eternity. Heaven laughs because God sees how these moments have woven together into destiny. Anointed one, think of Joseph in the prison, forgotten by men, overlooked by those he helped, but not ignored by God. Every hidden day was preparation for the palace, and when the time was right, God elevated him in a single moment. That is what heaven's laughter means for you. It is the sign that your hidden faithfulness is about to meet public favor. Chosen one, you may still feel unseen. You may still wonder if anyone notices the weight you carry. But heaven has recorded every detail. Not one tear has been wasted. Not one act of faith has been overlooked. And now the laugh of God is declaring, it is harvest time. You need to carry yourself with confidence. This is not arrogance. It is holy assurance. When you know God has laughed over your life, you walk differently. You no longer shrink to fit into places you have outgrown. You no longer apologize for the oil on your life. You stop living for the unstable approval of people and start moving in the unshakable approval of God. His laughter has already sealed your victory. Anointed one, hear this clearly. The laugh of God is heaven's weapon. It is not passive joy. It is a sound that dismantles strategies of darkness. It confuses the enemy. It disrupts his predictions. He thought he had studied you, memorized your weaknesses, controlled your responses. But heaven laughed because you broke the script. You chose faith where fear expected to reign. That act rewrote the ending. I have seen this in my journey. Times when I thought I was losing, heaven was actually celebrating. times when I thought I was stuck, God was already laughing because he knew the turnaround had begun. And I believe this